y'all? Welcome back to Exclusive Tea Talk Show. It's your host, Jai.
And Kay.
And today we have a special guest on our podcast. We have Miss Bonnie Banks. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? I am Bonnie Banks, a media personality, syndicated morning show producer, and artist.
Yes, so we're so excited to have you on our podcast today, Bonnie. You're looking all pretty and everything.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Thank you.
So a segment on our show that we do first is called Exclusive Tea Talk Show Icebreaker Game. But since we are over Zoom today, we're going to do it virtually. So Kayla's about to go ahead and pull up our little wheel for you to answer little exclusive questions for us today.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you're going to answer.
Okay. So do I click it?
Or I just speak before you.
Got her. Okay.
Okay, it says, if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be?
Ooh. I would say Spain. I really want to learn their culture, and I just feel like it's rich in culture, food, and the people. I feel like people are just really different. So, definitely.
Do you know how to speak Spanish?
Oh man, all the years I've taken in Spanish just to really not know how to speak that well. I can catch on pretty well.
Okay, so you wouldn't be nervous about moving to Spain and like not being fluent. Okay, that's good. Because girl, I would be scared.
Well, I think that's the best way to learn, to be honest, is like
if
you just
out there.
You'll be forced to have to learn to speak the language.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, do one more.
Okay. Okay, it says, what is an article of clothing that someone could wear that would make you walk out on a first date with them?
That's funny. Ooh, I don't know, are they like, I don't know what the real names of the hats are, but they're like those older men hats that are kind of like Congos,
like
maybe?
a fedora?
No, like ones that kind of pinch at the front, and they're like real old men, like, you know what I'm talking about? And they kind of go forward and then they pinch right here.
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
Old-timey, like.
Yeah.
Dang, but you think somebody in our generation would wear that?
Man, I think they would try to make it like cool or something.
Oh, yeah. I have to get introduces. Because no, would have been on that one.
So that's showing your age.
For real?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's not it at all. So let's go ahead and get right into these questions that we have for you. So our first question is, how did you get into the entertainment industry? And is this something that you always knew that you wanted to do?
So I pretty much went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting, which was like a small Connect school. They taught me pretty much the ins and outs of media in terms of radio, how to write an article, how to edit content, what you should use to edit content, things like that. But it was very condensed. I did it in about 6 months. Okay. And then from there, I remember driving every Thursday to the Metro Fun Center to do a sports podcast with some of my classmates. And that ended up paying off because the school called me and were like, hey, 99 The Game is looking for morning show producers, and at the time, nighttime producers. And I was like, okay, I'll turn my resume, and ended up interviewing and getting the job and working at 929 The Game, producing for sports talk radio, which then brought me into V103. And now I'm at Streets 945, producing the morning show there. So I don't think that I ever thought this was going to be my path. I did always want to be an artist. But then, just having Caribbean parents, you they ended up kind of telling me it's like doctor or lawyer, so you kind of pick one. And so I went to school to be a lawyer and decided that was not what I wanted to do at all.
Wow. How long were you in school to be a lawyer?
I didn't go into law school yet. I took the LSATs a couple of times so that I could go, but I didn't get into law school yet. And then I did some paralegal classes and was a paralegal for a couple of years.
Okay.
And that was not for
me
either. So, yeah.
I definitely feel you.
Same. Okay, our next question is, how did you get into radio? And tell us your story on how you started working at Streets 94.5.
So I was grateful enough to have met China. She's one of my friends at B103. Okay. And she was the one that, well, I kind of told my backstory on how I got into radio through school. So that was just, the luck of the draw there. But I got into Streets through China, who I met at B103. She ended up working at Streets 945 after COVID. They said that they were looking for board ops, and that's kind of your entryway to get into a lot of radio. And so I pretty much went in for an interview, supposedly for a board op, but kind of when I think about it, it might have also been for the producer, because at the time the young lady was pregnant, so she was going to leave. So they were also looking for somebody to fill that role. And I just remember pretty much, getting the job, and then my PD, he was like, "Oh, we're going to try you out in the morning show." And then I just never left the morning show. So
wow,
it ended up being a permanent job at that point.
That's so good.
Yeah, that is good.
You really love it?
I do. Some days can be a task and daunting. It does feel like I am the teacher sometimes of a high school classroom. Because it's really fun, but you have to take it seriously, because of course it's nationally syndicated, so we're not just in Atlanta, we're in Chicago, Charlotte, Virginia, all over.
For people, I don't mean to cut you off. For people who don't know what a syndicated radio show means, explain that to them.
The syndication means that you are not just in your local city. So B103 is local in Atlanta. They're probably one of the biggest Atlanta radio stations here. But think of like the Breakfast Club. They're nationally syndicated, so we are able to broadcast in different cities simultaneously from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. So like I said, we're in Virginia, Chicago, Norfolk, Chattanooga, Tennessee. We added on Louisville. And then, we have callers from LA now sometimes, because they're listening on the podcast. You can listen live on our app and things like that. So we cover national news, not just your local news.
Period.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes. So it's a big deal when you come on the morning show, because now you're broadcasting to, a multitude of people, millions of people, not just Atlanta.
Yeah, that's dope. So we know you, Miss Bonnie, but everybody doesn't know you. So when I met you, when I was interning at Streets, I met you as Bonnie. But I know some people know you as Chevy. So you are a artist, a performer, like you do multiple different things. So just talk about the different things that you do first, and tell them who Bonnie is and tell them who Chevy is.
Right. So Bonnie is my personality name that I was low-key forced to create when I was at B103 trying to be a media personality there. You're supposed to create your personality. You might have a different voice when you're on the radio. Sometimes you might speak a little differently just because, you're talking to an audience. And so Bonnie Banks was created really as my media and hosting name. But then I ventured into artistry, but I just felt like Bonnie Banks was not the name that fit my artistry. I think that Chevy was more of that alter ego that was fun, does reggae music and enjoys, art, life, and creativity. And it's a derivative of my real name as well. So is Bonnie. It's very interesting, but Bonnie is a derivative, and then Chevy's also, because my parents, when I was younger, used to call me like Chivy. That's why I spelled it with 2 V's. And, just kind of balancing those two is interesting because I'm in the entertainment world, and I think that you can do both. We've seen Ludacris do both. We've seen Angie Martinez as well do both of them. So, and as well as Carisha, our most recent, we have Carisha and Young Miami, and she's able to balance them both. So it's great to see that that's something that's possible, and that you can recreate those just alter egos that match different personalities that you have to offer.
Right. So do you feel like being an artist is like a really big passion of yours?
Oh yeah, I really love when I get to perform. That's my favorite. Just sharing my dancing abilities and putting together a show and entertaining people, and then hearing people actually know the words to your song is really mind-blowing. I don't think people realize oh man, like they actually know my song.
Yeah, like I'm first.
So, yeah, like it feels good. So I put together my concert, and I had a lot of my friends come out and they knew my music, and they were cheering me on. So that always just felt good. And I wanted to be a dancer, singer. When I was younger, I used to do Sierra's Evolution and just be dancing and singing around, have a concert in my house. So it was like something that's always been a passion that I really, really love.
Okay, I love that. Make sure y'all go check her music out.
Yes.
Is it hard balancing your work and personal life?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because your personal life kind of sometimes gets put to the side, especially in this industry when it's very much of a grind. Hosting can be very on and off. During the summer, I have more booked gigs than in the winter. Some people overlook you, and it can kind of start to affect your mental personally, but you have to be able to find a balance, which is why I think doing music has helped me. That's also part of like a hobby, you know what I mean? It helps just release just stress that I may be feeling, especially being a nationally syndicated producer. You're constantly working. If you're not on the internet, like looking at the blog sites to see what the newest entertainment news is, or on CNN trying to make sure you're keeping up with different articles, especially because we have the presidential debate coming up, and you just have to stay so knowledgeable that sometimes your personal life just takes a back seat, or you don't really get to do things that you would want to do even when you go out. Like when I go out, it's more so still working and networking. It's not really like, oh, let me let my hair down and get loose. It's always, you're kind of just constantly on a building path of where you can go next with your brand.
Right. So what is your favorite type of, news, I guess I would say, that you enjoy doing the most?
So I'm a very controversial person. So I like anything that can create a conversation and spark a debate. I like to kind of, put my points out there and hear your points, and we can go back and forth on why we believe we're right. So I'm not the biggest fan on entertainment gossip, even though I love to hear it. I don't necessarily like to report it too much because, again, like that's people's personal lives. These are real live celebrities that are going through things, but their lives are just on public display, So I can only imagine if that was me, and then you have people kind of talking about it. It's like you accept it because you know who you are, but at the same time, it's, it's good tea, but at the same time, it's kind of sad. So I prefer factual, controversial debates and conversations that really can make you think, and iron sharpens iron.
Okay, so you can get into politics and all of that.
Yes, I used to do politics a lot, especially because I was I did pageants in the Miss America system, and you really had to be able to, solve world hunger and
on the spot too.
Yeah. So.
I did one pageant that was not for me.
It can be challenging for sure.
Yeah.
Because I have to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and get to work, and then it's like 5 to 11, and now you have some free time. People think that it's easier because it's like now you can do all these things during the day, but really it's like I'll go work out and then I'm kind of tired, but I still need to edit. I still need to probably show up to an event. I still have to be outside. And you have to find ways to legit, like I don't go to sleep. I just take literal naps throughout the day. So it's just like I'll take a 2-hour nap, I'll wake up, I'll edit, I'll do some more things. I might go to an event, come back, and I'll probably be able to take about 4-hour nap so I can go back and go to work. So you have to kind of figure out how to do that, and then because music is something that you have to put in hours to actually just be good at it. That takes a toll too when you have to dedicate like 3 or 4 hours of a block time just so you can do something that makes you happy or like have a hobby, because that to me is a good release in general. So balancing both of them is hard. And then when it comes to dating, that's like a whole other world that you have to imagine. And just being a woman and dating in the entertainment industry is hard because you are outside a lot, and so you have to find somebody that understands, like, when I come outside I get paid to be outside.
I'm just not
it's to make sense. Like, I really do like being at home and cuddling with my dog, but some men don't get that, or they're just not ready for that sort of thing. So I think dating is just a whole nother personal life that is hard to balance with work. But at the end of the day, I remember to enjoy the journey and understand that this is part of what I signed up for.
Right. So what does like a typical day look like for you?
So a typical day, go to work, get there 5:30. I'll probably leave around 11. If it's a Monday, I'll get to come back to Gwinnett or the North Side, go to the gym till about 1. And then I'll, go home, regroup, all that stuff. By 2 o'clock, I'll probably grab a nap till about 4. Then I'll wake up. I'll record or I'll edit something. So one of those from like 4 to 6:30. Then I'll work on the rundown for the show for the next day.
Okay.
And so then we'll hop on a phone call around 7 o'clock. I'll do a phone call with them, fix the rundown as much as I can, send it out to them. And then, if I'm not tired, I might do something else that I can do, or I'll probably just watch a movie to kind of decompress. I've learned that sometimes it's good to just take a moment to really pull yourself down when you're constantly moving.
Right.
So that's typically what a day looks like. Or instead of going to the gym, I'll go to the studio, and then the studio is like a 4 or 5 hour session. So then by the time I get home, I'll probably be eating some food and having to do the rundown and things like that, and then pretty much just recycle that.
So are weekends normally a little bit more balanced?
Oh yeah, weekends I get to sleep in as much as I can. My body's pretty restless between that 6 and 11 because it's usually awake. But I'll try to kind of force it to just woosah a little bit. But I'll try to spend time with my mom as much as I can because I don't get to see her as much because I'm moving around. And I really just try to take the weekends to chill, chill. I don't really want to try to work. I don't want to plan anything that requires me to use a lot of energy, because by the time I hit back into the week, man, that Monday at 5 a.m. comes so fast. They don't tell you that part.
Ooh, 5 a.m. So what time do you be having to wake up?
Right.
Oh, yeah. The snooze button gets hit pretty often. It's supposed to be a 4:30 wake up call, maybe 4:20. I probably don't get out of my bed sometimes till like 4:45, 4:50. And then I'm just hitting like a quick, whole bath, brush your teeth. I'm like, I just gotta go, y'all. For real.
It gets like that. So who is someone, well, you kind of already answered it, but who is somebody that just one person that you look up to in the industry? Who you want to say?
In the industry.
And this could be music or a media person.
So I would say someone that I try to emulate as in terms of career-wise is Ludacris.
Okay.
He was able to be a media personality and transition into music. And now he's transitioning into being an actor.
Yeah.
So I think that being able to follow his, or just see the pivots that he took to do that, because it is hard. A lot of people do know me as Bonnie Banks, and Bonnie Banks is the media personality, is the red carpet host. And then they're like, oh, and you do some music. So like the music kind of comes in, and it's separating the two, but also not just separating them, but also keeping them together to propel the next one and go back and forth. Because music is not easy, which guys don't just go up and start music. It's expensive and it's not easy. But if you really love it, then it doesn't matter. But definitely Ludacris is somebody that, I saw him really be able to do both and do a good job at it.
Yeah.
Who is someone you want to work with, male or female?
In music or media or?
Anything.
Lately, I've really had this itch to to work with the Migos, or at least Offset or Quavo, one or the other, because they're from the North Side. Mm-hmm. So it just, to me, is really important that, I know they like to say Gwinnett is not Atlanta, but Gwinnett is Atlanta. I don't care what you guys say. We contribute to the culture. We have made a sound for the culture. The Migos was able to do that. So, like, to me, at that point, you can't say that we don't contribute to the culture and that we're not a part of it. So I would definitely want to do something like that with them and make most of my music is reggae. So I want to be able to do something in that trap reggae vibe with them. I think it would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be an interesting sound for real.
Yeah, something different. Bring it to the table.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I like that. That's definitely what I was about to ask. For people who don't know Bonnie, so you make reggae music?
Yes, it's a trap reggae.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So melodic rap, but trap reggae.
Mm-hmm. So are you on any like platforms after music?
All of them. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all platforms. It's SHEVVY.
Okay. Period. Make sure y'all go check her out.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so have you ever had a bad experience while hosting or performing?
I definitely had a bad experience. Well, both actually. Hosting can become a bad experience, to be honest, if you make it bad, because you control the vibes. Like, the DJ, of course, controls the vibes, but at the end of the day, like, if I can feel like the audience is not willing to connect with me, then I have to force them at that point, and forcing them in the best way possible, though. But that comes with, to me, experience of just hosting and knowing that, like, people are listening to you even though they're being dry.
Yeah.
They are paying attention. Performing, I did South by Southwest, and the microphone had a cord. And my performances, I dance, I move around. Like, I really want to be an entertainer, so I perform. The cord was not of my best interest at all. So it was just, yes, the whole time. So those would probably be my worst experiences.
Okay, so if you perform, then that means you're a dancer too.
Yes.
Okay, so something else on the list, y'all. Because one thing I feel like a lot in this industry is a lot of people who, like, we don't want to go to a concert and just see you standing there walking back and forth with a microphone. Mm-hmm. Is that really what I paid for?
I think that the industry has low-key been dumbed down a little bit. We've gone to these viral TikTokers or their music, and they're not true to me like entertainers.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that that's the issue. But I think that happened because of COVID, to be honest. Like, everybody was in the house, so, like, you're able to just listen to music or watch whatever's on your screen or whatever. But now that people are trying to actually pay to go to concerts, they're realizing the same thing you are. Like, okay, so you don't actually do anything. You just be on stage rapping. Got it. So I just like your music in the car,
right? Which
is fine. But, you know, streams don't pay a lot. Concerts is really what pays artists to perform and stuff. And I think people are realizing that if I go to a concert, I need to be entertained, or I really need to love them. Like Summer Walker, I love all of her words, but of course she's not about to get up there and do anything. But I've been to a concert and I loved her music. I knew all the words to it, so I enjoyed the concert itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you deal with negativity in the industry? Because I know being in this industry, it's like, it's hard.
Yes.
And it's a lot of negativity and just a lot of people who are just
trolling. Yes. I think that you have to just understand your path and know what you want. Most of the time, it's hard because as a human, I say just as a person, you go through ups and downs. I'm going to be realistic. I've been through times where I've been depressed, and then I've been up, and then I've been real down, and I'm like, okay, like, we're cool. And I'm so much of a astrology person as well, so I know that sometimes when I'm down, it's because I'm just connected to the universe, and maybe it's like retrograde right now is kicking my ass.
What's your time, by the way?
Sagittarius.
Okay. Oh, you just had a birthday.
Yes, it was Sunday, so I enjoyed
big
Sagittarius.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. But I think you just have to really understand that not everything is going to be flowers and roses. But when you do have accomplishments, celebrate them. I realize celebrating them is always important, even if they're small to you. This journey can make it feel like you're just constantly chasing, and then you'll hear people say like, oh, you're not gonna be able to do this, or you can't do this, and it's just like, manifest what you want. At the end of the day, I always say that if we are children of God and you believe in God as your higher power, that means that you have the power to move a mountain. So with that being said, if I say like I want this and I am going to do X, Y, and Z, you're going to do X, Y, and Z regardless of what anybody else says. So I'm a big person of manifestation, speaking into existence, and just continue to enjoy the journey and keep going forward.
Same, because it's definitely power in the tongue.
Yes, and I think people forget that part. Yeah, they forget that part. So just be careful what you speak over yourself. And like even in music is such a high frequency of manifestation. Like I've seen myself make songs and those things come to life.
Wow.
So I think that, again, just speaking those, because it's a chant at that point, and I don't want to get too deep because I'm not super deep, but I do believe in being able to create within the world that I live in, or the universe that I live in.
Yes. I would definitely agree.
Yes. Okay, what is some advice you would give to someone freshly breaking into the media and entertainment industry?
Consistency. Be consistent. Try to find new angles that somebody else hasn't tapped into. But most importantly, I'll say like I was telling you guys earlier, me and my friend used to do this podcast, but we would go live every Monday, and it was Cuties and Cocktails, and we did that, and people started to pick up on that. People knew who we were because we were always doing this Cuties and Cocktails thing on a Monday, and we did it every Monday for 2 years, maybe 2-3 years straight.
Wow.
So I think that, again, just if you're trying to break into this, start your own lane, create your own lane, because I had to do that for myself. Create your own lane of what you want to do, and then be consistent with that, and people will respect you because they know like you are willing to put in the work, because it's not easy to edit, it's not easy to learn how to edit, especially when you're starting. You're probably doing most of these by yourself. Be consistent, and then use the people around you. Ask them for opportunities. I was fortunate to have Myasia, and I reached out to her to kind of figure out like, hey, how are you hosting at a karaoke bar? Like, how'd you get that? And then she ended up bringing me in.
Okay.
So reach out to people that are already doing it. I mean, they're willing to help. They want to help. So just reach out to other women, if you're a female, of course, but reach out to other women in the same industry to help you and propel you as well, because it's not just you by yourself.
Yes.
And I think that when you are able to band together with other people, you can spread further.
Yes.
Well, we definitely appreciate you for coming on our show. And
I appreciate you reaching out.
Because everybody, I'm gonna be honest, everybody in the industry is not nice like you, and some of the people, like, I agree with everything that you were saying, but some people are kind of like, well, I got mine, so figure it out.
Yeah, and there's I will say that there is a weird level of a totem pole especially in media, of like, oh, I'm here and you might be here and it's not benefiting me, but just overlook that, because the ones that you connect with and the ones that are supposed to be in your group or you're supposed to interact with or whatever the case is, those are going to be the ones that you end up going further along anyway. So I've also had to learn that like there's like cliques and circles that I know everybody in those, but I'm not even invited to X, Y, and Z. And I just realized like, okay, that's a part that, maybe that's not my team.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Okay. What would you say is your greatest strength and your greatest weakness about yourself?
My greatest strength is that I can do multiple things. But that's also my greatest weakness, because now you are spreading yourself very thin. So you have to pick ones that are most important, that you want to focus on. But being talented at a lot of things, at least decent, can be really helpful in this industry, because you can be in any room, and if I'm able to problem solve or I'm able to contribute in this room in any capacity, that makes me very resourceful, and now I'm adding to what's going on in the room. But I would say that my weakness is trying to do too many things. So right now I am trying to focus on music and just producing the morning show. Like, those are my two main things. If I try to get back into media or like do red carpets, it really does take a lot of effort to do that. You have to be there early, you have to have a camera person, it costs money, things like that. So, just little things like that I think is try to find maybe 2 or 3 that you really want to stick to, that you can allocate the right amount of effort and time.
Right. So do you have to pay to when you want to be on the red carpet?
No. But most of the time your camera person wants to get paid. Unless they're breaking in. Like, I've been blessed to have some great people that are like, they actually do this. Yeah. But for the most part, like, you don't get paid unless you built a reputation. I've been blessed to have built one at this point. But that took like 7 years, you know what I'm saying? So like, now people are like, okay. And then of course, when I ask for compensation, they either are gonna say yes or no, but most of the time they're not questioning me if I ask for compensation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a background, like, and then blessed to be with Streets 945. So it's like that alone already carries weight that I could charge you for X, Y, and Z. So they don't charge you to be on it, but as you get into it, you do want to be able to get compensated for your time and efforts. It takes a lot to mix your makeup up.
Facts. Okay, have you ever had a setback in your career? If so, did you overcome it, and what did you learn from it?
I would say, yeah. When I got furloughed at B103 in 1990, that to me felt like a huge setback, because now I'm not in radio at all. I'm not in media. We can't go outside. You have to pivot. You have to find a way to still practice what you know while being at home. And so I just remember kind of trying to figure it out. And at the time, too, I just launched my own podcast that I was doing where I was interviewing artists. Okay. And I think I got into like 3 episodes before they were like, yeah, COVID's completely shut down. Then I got furloughed. So now I'm at home with no job and no connection to what I want to actually do. So I just remember being like, okay, that's okay. That's when me and my friend decided to team up, and we started the Keys and Cocktails, like I said, because that was easy. It was on live. She would come over my house just like this. We'd sit in the basement. I painted the background, made it cute, and we would sit on live and we'd interview people and we'd talk to people. And that was how I was able to say, you know what, I still got to work on my interviewing skills. I still have to work on talking and being able to connect. And now it's even harder because I can't touch you. I have to do it through this lens. So it's, again, finding that pivot and maneuvering to where, like, I was able to be like, hey, I still have to practice my skills, even if I'm not getting paid, even if I'm not a part of a bigger network or something's not backing me. But at some point, I'm going to be able to use these to present to my next job application, which is what I was able to do. I presented all of the videos I edited. For New Atlanta, I learned how to even edit more and do intros. I was able to present that on my resume because I didn't stop. So I would say, like, it doesn't matter. In this, it's cutthroat. Media is cutthroat. You'll be on air, and then 2 seconds later, you're fired. Like, that's just how they not giving you like a 2 weeks or a heads up. It's like you was just on air, you walking out now. And so you just never know with this industry what can happen. So you just got to be prepared to always pivot. But it sometimes is a downer, but you just have to kind of pick yourself up and just keep going. Like, people are looking at what you're doing, and then just apply yourself. If you keep applying yourself, the next job will come.
Do you have like a dream job?
I want to travel and perform.
Okay.
I want to be able to visit different countries, different cities, and entertain them, host, do everything that I do now, but in different states or over the seas or whichever. So that's like my dream right now.
Okay. What has been the most memorable moment of your career so far?
The most memorable of my career. I'm trying to think. I would say I was at my biggest. They're gonna kill me for this one. Well, there's 2. Okay. I'll say my first one though, because I didn't think that I would ever have met Greg Street at B103. I grew up listening to him. So at this point, I've listened to somebody that I felt like I knew because I listened to the radio and I grew up. Greg Street? Oh, wait. Okay.
I've never met him.
But that's your cousin. Yeah, that's your cousin. Yeah, so when I met him, it was just a real surreal moment. I was like, okay, wow, like I've met somebody that is a legend in our city.
Right.
And I got to see how he worked. You know, radio's not the same. Like, he's gone through so many different generations of radio.
Right.
But he still has a core. Like, he can run his own board, do the mics, and like he can do it all. A lot of radio personalities can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So just meeting him and being able to work alongside him and him being able to recognize me, I can call Greg right now and chat. Like, that to me is a really big deal. And then the second one, to be honest, is coming for a nationally syndicated morning show. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, guys. No idea. But I was like, wow, I'm literally working with Jock. And now I can call Jock my friend. I'm like, yeah, like, I'm cool with him. And you don't even realize how much of a celebrity he is until you go out. Like, oh, man, I see you every day. But, you know, just being able to become cool with him, and then Miss Shanika too, like, learning how to just be myself. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like you, does like you, whatever. Because Miss Shanika, I feel like, don't like nobody when she first comes. Yeah. And you have to accept that. And so, like, and then once you accept that, you can just be yourself. And so she really taught me to just be myself in any room that I'm in. And now, you know, we're pretty close and stuff like that. So those two moments to me were like level up moments. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I met a legend and now I'm working for nationally syndicated. And that memory of just being able to even be a part of these people's lives in this group is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, our last question. What can people expect and look forward from Bonnie in the future?
Oh, of course, more music.
Yes.
More music. And, you know, 2024... I really want to be able to take the morning show and do more traveling with them. If not with them, at least see them travel so that we can expand the brand even more. We just had our meeting, and like, for me, it's just important that I really give a little bit more effort to something because I'm already going. So it's like, you might as well give something a little more effort if you see that it can be great. And sometimes it's not always about the money, but sometimes about your reputation. And they say your reputation precedes you, because if I were to leave there today, I know that I could go somewhere else and possibly make more money, whatever. But you guys know what I come with when I bring it to the table. Like, I was able to do X, Y, and Z at this place, so I can apply the same concepts. So I just want to make sure that everything that I've touched becomes bigger and better and really impacts other people in 2024.
Period. Definitely. Well, do you do like vision boards or anything?
Yes, so definitely do vision boards.
Have you done one yet for?
I haven't, and I decided to do a quarterly one. So I'm gonna do the first 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Because I think if you do the whole year, it's too much. I tried to do the whole year, and I'm like, I didn't even do some of the stuff. But if you do quarterly, it's like, okay, I have to make sure I meet it at this time. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna do a quarterly one and see how that goes out.
Okay, so before we go, we have one last segment on our show that we do, and it is called "What Would You Do?"
Oh, okay.
So, let's pull it up.
This one seems like it's kind of spicy.
It gotta be exclusive.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. So it was a post going around, and it was about a girl and her friends. You know, they was planning a little girls trip.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a 13-hour drive, and you decided that you want to take a flight, but they don't want to. They don't want to fly. They want to drive.
Well.
So in this situation, what would you do?
I would take a flight. I am not driving with my friends for 13 hours. Then you guys gonna want me to drive, and I don't want to, and that's just too much time. I'm not doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna catch a flight, and then you guys can come pick me up at the airport.
So did they fall out after the situation, or
well, they don't really say.
Okay, we don't have an ending.
The lady was just asking. She said, "What would y'all do? Because it's a waste of time. We only going for 3 days, and y'all want to sit in the car for 13 hours just to drive. Like,
no.
What would y'all do?"
Yeah.
So you be the only friend that take your flight?
I'm gonna convince my other friends they need to take a flight, but take a flight. That's too long. My max, to be honest, is 6 hours. Like, I'm not doing no more than 6. I'm not driving more than 6, and I'm not in a car more than 6.
Yeah, because I just feel like 13 hours. Like, if y'all going on like a little girls trip or whatever, like that's one day wasted. If you're going for 3 days, that first day is going. By the time we get there, we get food, and then we're going to the hotel or the Airbnb.
To lay down.
Exactly.
Yes, to go lay down.
That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a group of y'all for sure, like it's not gonna be comfortable in the car.
Oh,
All
yeah.
y'all luggage.
You can't sleep. You can't lay down.
I just want to know why she wanted to drive instead of taking a flight.
Was it cheaper?
I don't know. Maybe she
We
wanted
need to
her
get
car
the
in the city.
Okay. Well, you know what? I understand having your own vehicle to like, right? I mean, but at that point, girl, just rent it.
Right.
You're doing too much.
Facts. That's crazy.
Hopefully they didn't fall out over it though.
I'm pretty sure somebody.
No, because you know how them trips be.
Yeah, you always never come back with your friends. I think I've lost a couple friends.
Has that ever happened to you?
I've gone on a trip and lost some friends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not close with a lot of my college friends because of some.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta tell us a little bit about that. Some exclusive tea.
So it was, we went to, I believe, Miami for a birthday, and I just did not appreciate how the person
Why?
was.
Nobody can.
You can't. It's a curse. It's a curse.
Oh my God.
It really exposed the true you. And I didn't like how they were driving, and they were like, I was like, I really want my life, guys. I just, if you start driving fast, I'd be like, slow down. Like, I am that person. I didn't like how they were driving, and then something happened at the Airbnb where we was beefing, and one of my friends had brought the guy that I was beefing with, and I was like, I don't like this man. Like, you need to leave. So it just ended up being really jumpified, but. And I'm really cool on a trip, but there are certain things that, to me, I do not tolerate on trips.
So what's some certain things you don't tolerate on a trip?
Okay, everybody needs to contribute to the payments. Okay. Do not come on this trip broke. Do not do that. That is my ultimate. Do not come on here. Like, I feel like all my friends, now we set a budget.
Okay.
So it's like, are you coming with 5? Okay. If I'm coming with 5, you coming with 5. We all got 5 to spend, and we can do things. But do not come on here talking about some, you don't have this, like, I don't have time for it. I don't necessarily like itineraries, but if we plan something and we're going to do it, let's do something. We're out here, let's do it. That kind of thing. So don't come here being all mopey and stuff like that. And yeah, don't come with no bad vibes. Like, I'm here to have a good time and get away from wherever I'm at, especially. So those are like my top 3 for real.
Okay. Yes. Well, we want to thank you so much, Bonnie, for coming on our podcast today. But before we go, tell them where they can reach you, where they can find you, what platforms you're on, all of that.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me at THEE. That's the Bonnie Banks for my media, model, all of those. And then if you want to follow me for music, it's yo.chevy, SHEVVY.
Period. Make sure y'all go check her out.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, it is your host, Jai.
And Kay.
Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, follow us, all of that good stuff. We are on YouTube,
Apple Podcasts,
and Instagram. So make sure you guys go check us out. We upload videos each and every Friday. So make sure you guys check us out. Again, it's your host, Jai.
Okay.
And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.